What up, though? Your boy Meech, aka the Siage Saint. Hope everyone's doing well. Time for another fragrance video. It is Friday, which means I have another exciting edition of First Impressions Friday. And today we are going to talk about a fragrance from the house of Maison Asrar. They are a newer, inspired by or cloned fragrance house on the scene. They have gained a lot of traction with the fragrance from the house called Legacy, which from what I hear is a really, really good interpretation of Ex Nihilo's Blue Talisman. But today we are going to talk about another fragrance from their house, and that fragrance is called Vision. Now, when you think about, the most cloned DNAs in 2025, you got to talk about the aforementioned Blue Talisman, you got to talk about Imagination, you got to talk about God of Fire, and you have to talk about Pacific Chill. And Vision is yet another interpretation of Pacific Chill. Here's the box. Of course, you can see that says Maison Asrar Vision. And ladies and gentlemen, prepare to see one of the best looking bottles you have ever seen. That is absolutely gorgeous. Let me go ahead and take this out. Beautiful, beautiful bottle design. Here it is, Maison Asrar Vision. This is a 100 ml bottle. It's an eau de parfum concentration. Now, I have been told that the cap is supposed to be a replica of the Museum of the Future, which is in Dubai, and that these designs, this like calligraphy, was like handmade, handcrafted by the designer of the bottle. If that is true, that is absolutely incredible. But does the fragrance smell incredible? That's what we want to know. And that's what we're going to get to the bottom of right now. Of course, I'll give you guys the accords, the note breakdown. I've had an opportunity to wear this one a couple of days, so I'll talk a little bit about my wearing experience. And of course, I will give you guys a rating. So let's get into it right now. Vision by Maison Asrar is described as a citric, aromatic, fresh, spicy, green, fruity, musky, amber, animalic, herbal, and soft, spicy scent. Your top notes are lime, black currant, orange, and lemon. Mid notes are basil, white tea, and coriander. And your base notes are musk, ambergris, and moss. So let's go ahead and get this on a tester strip. So the bottle, because of the way it's shaped, it's a little difficult to spray, but it works out. Very wide distribution on the sprayer. And I got something like on my leg and everything, but it's all good. Okay, in the air. Citric blast is what you get immediately. That lime, that lemon combination, and that black currant almost give it a little bit of like a slight, I would say, like tartness. It's not overly tart, but it is a somewhat tart-ish citric blast. And that citrus kind of plays throughout. You start to pick up on some of the aromatic notes in the fragrance, the basil, a little bit of the coriander, giving it a little bit of spice. Initially, I don't get a whole lot of the white tea. It's just mainly like, and I describe the citrus as tart, but I would probably change that and say it's really more rindy. It's kind of like the rindy part of all of these citruses. It kind of has that type of feel. Now, I know Pacific Chill has a notable apricot note in the fragrance. If you listen to that note breakdown, you don't get apricot here, but you still get that feel. Some kind of way they kind of get that DNA in the fragrance. But for the most part, this is a fresh, citric, aromatic fragrance. It gets a bit musky in the dry down. Not overly mossy at all, but that ambergris and that musk you definitely get as you get into the dry down. Now, full disclosure, the Louis Vuitton Freshies have never really blown me away. Like, I just don't see why people pay $350, $400 for them when they're kind of just Freshies that don't perform super well. I guess they're average to below average performers. So with those fragrances, I've always kind of just gone, the clone route. I have Amber Oud Aqua Dubai by Al Haramain. That's Imagination. I have Quatre by Paris Corner. That's Afternoon Swim. And now I have this. And this is solid. The quality on this is very, very good. I don't or can't compare it to other Pacific Chill interpretations, but this smells very nice. And where this one really, really shines is the performance. This is going to get you at least 8 hours. It's a skin scent. You know, after that 8-hour mark, you can still smell it as a skin scent 10, 12 hours after applying it. So from a performance standpoint, this is a very, very good fragrance. But from the scent profile perspective, it's just cool. It's a citric, freshy that gets musky in the dry down. It smells nice. I'm glad I have it. A little bit on the pricier side for a cologne. I think I paid about $55 for this. But compared to Pacific Chill, that is just a drop in the bucket. I would give this on, glorified first impressions. I would give this a 7.5 out of 10. It smells pleasant. It smells nice. It is a great performing interpretation of Pacific Chill. So if you don't have that DNA in your collection or you're looking for something that performs better, you definitely want to check out Vision by Maison. Of course, this is going to be a fragrance that excels in the spring and the summer, definitely in the warmer weather months. And this is probably one that I am going to reserve more so for daytime wear. Running errands, the gym, just day-to-day regular wear. It kind of serves that purpose for me. But 7.5 out of 10 for Vision by Maison. Have you smelled this fragrance? If so, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I love to hear about them. Be sure to check out my social media for more. Please like and subscribe on whatever social media platform you're watching this on. That would be greatly appreciated. Once again, it's your boy Meech, aka the Sea Saint. Until next time, take care. Peace.